Today I want to talk about a subject that is very near and dear to my heart, and that subject is food. But I want to talk about food in a very different way than what we normally think of food. And it's the way that I view food now for the most part. But I'm going to take you through a couple of scenarios. And I'm going to ask you some questions as I take you through them. I'm going to tell you how I would respond to them and why. And at the end of that whole exercise, my thought is that you will understand how I now view food and why I don't have an issue with food anymore. I don't like using the word never, but I was a serial dieter for much of my life, and I don't feel like I will ever diet again because of the new way that I see food. Okay, so the first scenario is you go out onto your front porch and there's a gas can sitting there, a red gas can, and you have no idea where it came from, who put it there, or why it's there. But you look inside and it looks like gasoline and it smells like gasoline. My question to you is, would you put that in your car tank? I will tell you that I would not. And the reason I would not, even though it's free gas, is because it might damage my car. If I were to put it in there and someone had put sugar in it and put it on my front porch, then I might have to take my car into the shop. I'm very frugal. I don't like making car repairs, so it's not worth the chance for me. I wouldn't do it. Okay, my second scenario is this. You are called by a friend who says, I have found this fabulous restaurant and I want to take you there. The food is amazing. The only problem is it's a dive. Would you be in for that? A dive would be like a not nice place. Okay, this is going to make no sense to you, but I will tell you I am all in on that one. I have just told you that I'm very picky about the fuel that I put in my car, but I am willing to go to a dive restaurant because the food is free and it's amazing. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with those two stories? I've analyzed this because this is me. I've analyzed this, and the reason I understand is because our bodies and brains are so incredibly resilient. We can go to a Super Bowl party and eat an entire bowl of Velveeta cheese and drive home. We can skip a meal. We can eat chili dogs and cheeseburgers from Sonic and still live to tell the tale. But what I have learned in my years of studying nutrition now, this is my hobby, is that even though we're living to tell the tale, we're still doing damage to our bodies by not giving it the perfect fuel. I have learned in the last few years that when I fuel my body with really nutritious food, I feel better. And in turn, what I have figured out is that I've actually become addicted to really good, nutritious food. And I really want other people to understand how much better you feel when you eat good, nutritious food. I will still be all on board when a friend wants to take me to a dive restaurant. I love trying new things. I love good food. I don't dislike junk food, but I don't choose to eat it now most of the time because it doesn't really fuel me properly. And I didn't make this up. I read things all the time, and someone came up with this way to look at things, and I look at things now in this, when it comes to food, I look at food this way. And I will tell you before I tell this, I'm not a black and white person whatsoever. I'm very much a gray area person. But when I'm learning something new, I like to think in terms of black and white, only because it's easier for me to learn something when I am first starting out. It's easier for me to learn just simple facts. Later on, I can get into the gray areas. So I think there are a lot of gray areas when it comes to food. But this person said, food is never neutral. It is either harming or healing. The takeaway from what I'm going to tell you today is basically, I'm going to give you a couple hints on what would be considered healing foods and what would be considered harming foods. And these are overgeneralizations, but they're pretty true if you do the testing on it. If it comes from Mother Nature and you can buy it at your local farmer's market, it's more probably than not healing. If, on the other hand, you buy your foods at the grocery store and they have a shelf life, and they come from a food manufacturer being the operative word, there's a pretty good chance that those foods are harming. So the next time that you have a food choice, don't think in terms of you're denying yourself because you're not going to eat that ding dong. Think of it in terms of, I'm going to have more energy and feel better if I go for those nutritious foods that are healing me instead of harming me.